What is up, everyone? Welcome to round 2 of the October 2024 Portland Monthly Premodern Paper Magic Afternoons Tournament. A couple of rad decks, so without further ado, let's get into the deck list. First up, we have John with Blue-White Replenish. Now, I'm going to say this list is pretty stock, although I do really appreciate that almost 50% of it is in Japanese. Looks like he's still working his way through the deck, which is always awesome to have a goal like that. Love to see it. If you're not familiar with Replenish, the basic game plan is to get out Parallax Tide, Parallax Wave, Opalescence, or get them in the graveyard and then bring them back with the namesake of the deck, Replenish, which brings back all enchantments. One of the best ways to do that is either Intuition or Attunement, which are both great ways to make sure you get all your combo pieces to exile either all your opponent's creatures, lands, or both, and then swing in for a big Opalescence victory. The deck is very resilient, very hard to interact with if you're not hitting the graveyard at just the right time, and is obviously a very tough competitor. So who's he playing against? Wouldn't you know it, we got a little Halloween spice here today. We have Rock playing Broccoli Soup, and this is a little bit more of an aggressive version of the deck with no Drinkers of Sorrow or say Phyrexian Negators that I've kind of been accustomed to with this list. This is in fact a way more low to the ground list that resembles more of a black aggro list, but does splash green for Rancor and also just good cards in the sideboard like Pernicious Steed, Naturalize, and even a Choke, which is actually kind of cool. I'm also going to call out Hidden Gibbons, which was a really spicy include from TK in last month's tournament, and I believe Rock took a little bit of inspiration to put that in the sideboard as well. So very cool to see our format inspiring each other. But overall, like I said, this is just a black aggro deck. I do appreciate that he has been trying to gold border it as much as possible. We definitely like to have our themes here for sure in Portland, and this is looking absolutely fantastic. So without further ado, let's get into the games. Okay, we have John on the left, Rock on the right. I think this first game for sure is going to come down to who's on the play. Rock does not have any way to interact with Enchantment's main board, but he does have Graveyard Hate with those Weathered Wretches, just naturally having 4 in the main deck. Looks like he's got a little smuts on his cards. Gonna get that cleaned up, hopefully. And yeah, maybe just a little bit of zombie dust. Does have a Weather Wretch in hand to kick things off. I see lands and spells for him. I don't know if he's got the Dark Ritual in hand. It's a little hard to tell. And as far as John's cards, I'm not seeing too much. All right, looks like we got keeps from both players. I'm gonna start off with the City of Brass, the Pain Drain coming early. Play out a Sarcomancy, get a 2/2 zombie. This is an enchantment that checks on your upkeep if you have a zombie on the field. If you don't, you take 1 point of damage. Well, most of the cards in John's deck are zombies, except for the Black Knight, which is actually a very good card in this matchup. All right, we got Gemstone Mine coming down as well. A lot of splashing for, or a lot of support for the green. This does enter with 3 counters. In response, oh, John trying to stifle. Does that work? Or does it enter? I actually don't know if that works. We're gonna get a little judge call here. Judge just being literally another player. We don't have a resident judge on hand or anyone who's been trained in the judge program, so it's kind of just a what is Google and what is the closest player who's been playing long enough. No. So I believe it just enters with the counters, but chat can correct me if I'm wrong. All right, so that is going to resolve. John trying to get a little sneaky here. All right, we're going to duress. Maybe taking that stifle. Or maybe that replenish. The attunement would also be decent. Oh, he's got 2 replenishes. That makes it a lot worse. Yeah, 2 replenishes in hand is a very good hand for John. All right, we're gonna take the attunement. Makes sense. And John's gonna play open. Very nice of him. All right, swinging for 2, play out the Carnophage. The beats are coming. Now the trickiest part of this is Rock remembering to take a point for his Carnophage, which he does. Good job. That's a Dark Ritual, I believe. No, that's a Rancor. All right, we got a Rancor. Bad Moon. All black creatures get +1/+1. Now swinging in for 6 a turn. Taking a point off of the City Brass. Another land, say go. There's a Dark Ritual. Alright, make a black, Dark Ritual. Play out the Weather Wretch. 1 black floating. Go ahead and eat that attunement. Makes sense. Pay for green, give the zombie Rancor. And swing in for 8. Drop to 6. Can you win this turn, John? You've only played lands so far. Nope. We're going to go to game number 2. Okay, well that was a very fast game number 1. John obviously not prepared for the zombie onslaught that befell him, but I'm assuming now is going to be way more prepared, keeping, looks like at least 1 swords, or is that 2? I think he's got 2 swords in hand. That's pretty good. We can also see Rock did some sideboarding. There's 2 naturalizers in hand. All right, Sarcomancy coming down. Get a 2/2. Which will get swords. Okay. We do have some extra dice. Perfect. Okay. Starting off with 22 life. There's a Seal of Cleansing. Probably not hitting the Sarcomancy, although Rock's suggesting that it might be a good target. Take a point off of the Sarcomancy. Alright, no, so John just has 1 sword left. Did I see an attunement in hand as well? And Rock is unfortunately just going to pass. Alright, there's another Seal of Cleansing. Alright, City of Traders coming down. Access to 4 mana now. Takes a point. Are we seeing an attunement? No, we're seeing a Fact or Fiction. Or Frantic Search. Sorry, not Fact or Fiction. Frantic Search. Untap 3 lands. Pretty good when one of your lands taps for 2 mana. So, John having access to 5 mana this turn. Does have to discard some cards. Gonna discard one of the seals. And the fact that he's not immediately... Ooh, and dumping us swords, too. Bold move, Cotton. Alright. There is a Parallax Wave. That makes sense. So now he can exile any creature Rock plays and then blow it up with the seal, which is not necessarily the best thing he could do, but it is an option. Instead, it's just going to get naturalized. Very smart for Rock for keeping that up. He did have, I think, a 2-drop he could have played, but keeping a naturalize open. There's a Withered Wretch. Alright. John, having pitched that swords, cannot hit it. And I don't think it has the mana for Attunement Replenish this turn. It's going to take a point here. Play out the attunement. And do you activate it this turn? It's a little risky, I feel like. Nope, he is gonna draw 3, discard 4. Thinking a little bit here on what he wants to actually discard. I didn't see a replenish, but it doesn't mean he doesn't have one in hand. I think this is kind of risky with the Weathered Wretch right there on the battlefield. Rock potentially having access to 3 mana next turn to hit the 3 best enchantments. Alright, so we have Attunement, City Traders, and Opalescence, and what's the 4th one going to be? Tough to tell what's actually in his hand. Oh, it looks like an Intuition. Okay, so that's all going to hit the bin. Say go. Notably, Withered Wretch is a zombie, so Sarcomancy does not ping him anymore. There's a Duress. That's going to be pretty bad. Yep, hit the Intuition. And swing for 2. And say go. John gonna pass. And Rock gonna hit the Opalescence, which is probably the scariest one out of there. The Attunement is also not great. Oh, alright, there's a Rancor. Swing for 4. Rancor just goes back to Rock's hand. And Rock not finding any lands, but is still putting plenty of pressure on here. And tough to tell what's going on in John's hand. He's going to play out that land. The City of Traders will die. And Parallax Wave is going to get exiled. Alright, Rock finds his 3rd land. Taking a point to play out the Rancor. And Unholy Strength. That's right, that's what the other enchantment is. Swinging in for major damage. If John can find a Swords here, that's, I think, the only thing that saves him. Because this thing is 2, 4, 6. Oh, it's just a 6/6. Just, or a 6 something. Is that a bad moon? Yes. Okay. So now it's 7. Down to 1. Is that a Swords? Nope, that's a bunch of lands, and Rock takes this match down. All right, well, that was some very clean magic from Rock and a little bit of flooding from John, but also just maybe, you know, don't pitch your Swords next time. I'm just kidding, dude. You guys both played great. Thanks to all you guys for watching. If you like this video, make sure to like, subscribe, commenting also helps immensely. If you want to support the channel even more, there's a Patreon link in the video description below. That money goes towards gear upgrades, travel expenses like the trip I'm taking to Vegas to record the Sin City Open for Premodern and Old School. Old School's coming back to the channel, guys. That's pretty exciting. That'll be next year, but early next year, so stay tuned for that. And yeah, thanks everyone for watching. I'll catch you next time.